Good evening, everyone. Today we are going to start with this event or this ethical hacking event by DSC. Let me share my screen. Before we start the event, I would like to tell you that all your Q and questions you can put them in the chat right here, and they'll be answered once uh, once the all the content has been shared and this session is open for questions. Okay, so I request Deep to start with the session. I think Deep is having some issues. Okay, so I think that Deep will continue. So, introduction to cyber threats and prevention. So, ethical hacking, when we hear this term first, all comes to our mind is getting into a computer or the cyber crimes and all. So, this session is totally based on the cyber threats and their prevention. And in the end, we'll also tell you how to install the required software so that you can um, become an ethical hacker and make a career out of it. So the most important thing in cybersecurity is the CIA triad. The CIA stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality is methods to ensure sensitive information is not reaching in wrong hands. Like there is one doctor and he puts up his report on WhatsApp, and that's his research, so that if another doctor can contact a hacker or any person and then he accesses that report, then that would lead to data leak. And when and in WhatsApp, when we call, there's a message written, it is double side encrypted, which means that the hacker cannot access anything which we speak. In the first case, the doctor's research papers were leaked to the other doctor, and he he took advantage of his research and got all his uh, research patented in his name rather than the first doctor could. But in the other hand, on the second case, the data which was transmitted via call, which was doubly encrypted on both sides, couldn't be stolen. This is confidentiality. Then comes integrity, maintaining the consistency, accuracy, and truthfulness of data over its entire life cycle. Means that data can be false. Like in an image, you can encrypt data and hide data, and then send that image. For example, when malwares are transmitted, they can be sent through via encrypting images and hiding the code behind them. But there are softwares in via which we can prevent that. And integrity ensures that the data is consistent and no hampering or no malhandling is done with it. Then availability, like uh, what is my salary? That is my person my personal data, and that must not be available to the other person. Well, he can access this from other sources, but basically it is not available to him. And this is availability, and this all forms the CIA triad. It is the basic of the cyber security. Now we start with the cyber threats. The first comes malware. Malware is, you take any computer virus, any trojans. Trojans are basically like You might have seen that movie Troy, in which there was a horse which contained some people or rather the soldiers, and then they attacked during the night. So that is the Trojan horse. It appears to be something else, and it is something else. Then there is my spyware, adware, worms, and all this comes under malware. This might destroy your PC, or it might steal data and send it to the creator of that malware, and you might not know that the data has been sent, and then a hacker can do anything.
Hello.
So this was malware. Next comes phishing,
Harsh.
acquiring
Hello,
information through
Harsh.
third-party apps. Um, Basically, when you just let's take a
Harsh.
case that you got a link on WhatsApp or Facebook or on any social media platform, and you clicked on it, and it asked you to log in into Instagram. You'll enter your credentials, and then you log in. Thereafter, what happens is that if that link is
Hello, Harsh.
sent from a hacker, the first thing is it will not look like an Instagram link. If it loads, then it
Harsh.
might have some hampered information which is not necessarily noticed by many people, and they might enter the credentials and log into that page. Okay, that is done.
Harsh, I
But
think I'll
thereafter,
continue
the
from
thing
here.
is that information is sent to the hacker, and then he has your user ID and your password. Thereafter, he can do anything with that. This is called phishing.
Harsh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Deep was trying to.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I'll continue from here. I got some issues back. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got his voice now.
Yeah. So I'll just share my screen.
Yeah. Are you able to share now?
Yeah. Yes.
we inconvenience everyone. We're just having a few technical issues. They have been fixed now, so we'll be resuming now. Deep, you can continue.
Yeah. Just a moment, guys. Hello. Hello.
Audible,
Yeah.
Deep.
I'm audible. Yes. Uh, Let me just share. Is my screen visible?
Deep, your screen's visible.
Okay.
Guys, I would request the attendees to just put a yes or no in the chat box if you're able to hear Deep. It might be a technical issue on our side. So, if anyone could just confirm from the attendees in the chat box by saying a yes, if you can hear Deep. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Saurabh. Yeah, Deep, you can continue. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you. So since Harsh has already talked about phishing attacks, now we'll move on to password attacks. So password attacks are just as the name assumes that they are password attacks which are used to crack something. Password attacks are basically passwords so that they could use the account for illegal use. And now basically there are three types of password attacks, which are brute force attacks, dictionary attacks, and keylogger attacks. So basically in the brute force attacks, what happens is that the attacker creates a list of passwords which he thinks will be possible as the password of that victim. And in the dictionary attacks, it's basically all the uh, it's basically all the words in the dictionary So he tries all the words in the dictionary and tries to crack the password. And in keylogger attacks, it's basically the movements in the keyboard which the attacker notifies, and he uses those words to crack the password in the list. Now, next comes the distributed denial of service, also called as DDoS. So basically, in this, just wait a minute, let me just present it. Yeah. In distributed denial of service, the servers are heavily loaded with traffic so that they cannot be used. So sometimes you guys might have seen that the server has crashed off the Symbiosis because lots of crowd has been gathered. So this is basically the same thing in which you send fake traffic so that the server cannot respond. Now the fifth attack is the main man in the middle attacks. So in this, as you can see, that the attackers makes two parties believe that they are directly communicating with each other while the data is going through the attacker's machine and he is able to access all of it. So what happens in this is that the attacker becomes man in the middle. So as the name assumes that he will be visible to the victim as the as the router, for example. So if you are connected to the Wi-Fi, then the host machine or the victim will see the man in the middle as the router, and the Google, for example, you wanted to search something on Google, so the request will be sending to Google, right? But and now the request will be going through the man in the middle, that is the attacker, and then it will reach the Google. And now the Google will assume that the man in the middle is the victim. So you getting it? So in this manner, the attacker will get all the information that is sent to the Google and which is replied by the Google to you. So in short, he'll be getting each and everything that you are doing on your laptop or your computer. Next is drive-by
Sorry
downloads.
to interrupt, Deep.
Yeah.
There is a question difference between brute and dictionary attacks.
Okay. So as you can see that there are many just a minute, brute and dictionary attacks, right? So in brute force attacks, the attacker creates a list of possible passwords. Now this can range from anything. It can include numbers, symbols, anything. And a dictionary attack will include only the passwords which are inside the dictionary, means all the words that a dictionary contains. In short, a whole dictionary. And a brute force, there are many possible ways to create list for the brute force attacks. And yeah, basically it's this. So brute force attacks, it will contain any number of possible any the list for the brute force will contain a lot of passwords which are possible, which according to you will be the passwords that the victim might have kept. That is it. So should I carry on?
Like I just give a that was a good explanation. So yeah, I'll just add on to it. So for brute force attacks, let's take an example. I'm Karthik, right? So if you're trying to hack my accounts, what would you try my passwords to be? You could try anything ranging from Karthik, my birthday, my pet's name, my parents' names, my phone numbers, anything that you have information of, you put them in a list and you try different combinations. So you try my phone number name, you try my name with my phone number, you try my name with my birth dates, you try my birth dates with my phone number. Yeah, you can try all these, and this is called a like a proper listed brute force. And when you go to a dictionary attack, what you'll do is you'll make a list where you'll be just following the dictionary order. You'll be like, so let's say the password can have my letters Kartik, and it can have numbers from 1 to 10. So what a tool will do for in that case is create a whole list containing Kartik and numbers from 1 to 10 in any particular order. So for such kind of attacks, the list size can be really high. So if you're just to give you a scalable uh, overview, if you consider a list made out of my name, that is Karthik, and you take digits from 1 to 10, all the possible combinations will be a factorial. So you can just imagine how big of a list that can be, ranging from anywhere between 50 GB to more than 500 GB. So it's more preferred to make personalized lists for every kind of attacks that you're doing, because they might yield you better results. So I guess that answers your question. Yeah, you can continue, Deep.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And the next type of attack will be next type of threat is drive-by downloads. So drive-by downloads is basically a malicious code or software which will get downloaded into a system through the background by just visiting a few websites or while you're browsing anything. So you won't even be noticed that a malicious code has been injected into your system just by visiting any site, any website or anything, or just by clicking an ads. Uh, this will be very threatful for you because you are unknown of this attack and it can steal your data. Now, next will be maladvertising. So, as the name suggests, it's advertisements. So, advertisements are used maliciously. So, basically, in this, for example, you might have been noticing many ads on some of the websites that you go through. So, and when you click on those ads, what happens is that malicious software or malicious codes get inserted into your computer and it will be able to steal all the data. So just by clicking on the ads, all the data will get stored and you might lose some private information, private data. Next is rogue softwares. So basically in rogue software, what happens is that it is a kind of software which makes you believe that there is some virus or malware inside your computer. So it will make you download a new software, malicious code, to remove the malicious code that the attacker seems that you have inside your laptop. So I know this might be a little bit complicated. So in short, it is a software which makes you believe that there is some virus inside your laptop. So you install another software which is suggested by them, which will contain more amount of malicious code and worms or some kind of thing, and it will eventually make your laptop even more worse. That is it. So a few examples of that, few examples of it are Spy Sheriff and a lot more. So now Harsh will be telling you the preventive measures that you should take to avoid these threats. So Harsh, why don't you carry on?
Yeah, thanks, Deep.
Yeah.
So just let me share my screen. Yeah, so we are at the preventive measures. The first measure is cryptography, which in layman terms is to hide your message and send it, and then at the receiver's end, you just unpack it and then read it. So cryptography is a method of protecting information and communications through use of codes and all the definition. The main procedure is the message is encrypted or is packed using a key, then and converted into a ciphertext. Then the ciphertext is sent to the receiver, and the receiver uses the decryption key to unpack the message, and he or she can read it. This can be done in two ways. One is symmetric key cryptography. So this key thing that I said, this can be in symmetric key cryptography. It is same for the sender and the receiver. The most commonly used algorithms are DES, Data Encryption Standard, 3DES, Triple Data Encryption System, and AES, Advanced Encryption System, to encrypt the data. Now, there are several ways to implement this symmetric key cryptography. First one being transposition cipher, in which method of encryption by which the positions held by units of plain text are shifted according to a regular system so that the ciphertext constitutes a permutation of the plain text, which means the ciphertext is merely a jumbled form of the original message. Substitution cipher. Units of plain text are replaced with ciphertext following a fixed system. Means the alphabets or characters or uh, the alphanumeric characters are substituted with random characters, and then it is converted to ciphertext. Then comes the stream cipher, in which every bit is encrypted at a time and sent to the receiver, and then he decrypts it one at a time. Then a block cipher. A block or a group is selected from the message, and it is sent encrypted, and then it is sent to the receiver, and he or she decrypts it using the same method by decrypting one block at a time. Next comes asymmetric key cryptography or public key cryptography. In this, the message is decrypted and encrypted using a public key and a private key. If the message is encrypted via a public key, the receiver needs the private key to decrypt it, and vice versa. If encrypted using the private key, the receiver needs the public key of the sender to decrypt it. It uses RSA and ECC, elliptic curve cryptography algorithms, to encrypt the data. To show you a glimpse, you see this lock icon here. If we click it and go on the certificate, then details. Here we can see all the certificates. This SHA is the SHA 256 RSA. See, here I talked about this RSA. Means this signature algorithm is encrypted with RSA. Then as we go down, here it is ECC. Means this whole Google Slides page is encrypted using asymmetric key cryptography, and it is valid and quite secure. Next we come how to prevent the attacks which Deep introduced all of you to. First is malware. So as he said, malware is a simple virus. So the most common things are stop clicking on suspicious links, updating the firewall periodically, updated OS to be safer of OS vulnerabilities. Next is password attack. Keep on updating your password, use alphanumeric characters and no dictionary words. If we create any account, the account suggests that we use special symbols, uppercase and lowercase letters, and digits in our password. That makes as Karthik and Deep added, that the dictionary list can range from 50 GB up to 1 TB or even more. So this becomes difficult for the hacker to access the data, to access the password, access the right password. Next comes how to prevent DDoS, distributed denial of service. Now we can do traffic analysis control, we can do recovery management, and we can also maintain strong network architecture. These are the basic things which can be done to prevent the DDoS. Rest, we can also apply or buy softwares online to prevent DDoS. Then comes how to prevent man-in-the-middle attacks. First of all, use encrypted WAP. WAP stands for wireless access point. Then invest in a VPN, virtual private network, which would give you a more secure place, a more secure connection, and the hacker wouldn't be able to be the man in the middle. Then always check the security of your connection. The next is how to prevent drive-by download, keep software updated, and prevent opening suspected sites, and be aware of phishing. Then, like as I said, that phishing when a phishing link is sent, it is not a genuine link. If you see here this lock icon, it can be just uh, copy pasted also. Like this is clickable. If there is a phishing link, then this link might not be clickable. And if you just, like, I can put my cursor here and do operate on this link, and I can also remove or insert this lock icon if it is a phishing link. But if it is a genuine one, then we can click it and view that connection is secure. Next is maladvertising. So we use the ad blocker. We use regularly update our software, and we have a common sense. Like, even if someone is selling his or her bike at 15,000, then that's not a genuine price for a bike. Like, for consider the bike be Bullet 350, then that is not at all a genuine price for it. So that is maladvertising. Then there is how to prevent rogue software, updated firewall, antivirus, and general distrust. Now, these are the most basic requirements that how you can prevent being attacked by any of the attacks that we told. The most effective preventive measure is to stay updated and be aware, which is totally true. Another effective measure, I would say, would be to keep your system totally updated, because if your system is not updated, then the person can access the vulnerabilities that were in the previous system, and then anything can happen. Now, these were all the basic methods which you can use to prevent all those attacks. As an ethical hacker, you can do pen testing on software to ensure the limit at which it can be penetrated and suggest measures to extend that limit. And like, if a hacker is hacking you, then you can also hack him or her back. Then find out the origin of the vulnerability and remove it. Like all the updates that come out, people are assigned jobs to find the vulnerability or the defects, and then the new code is written, the whole process is refactored, and then the update is sent. Then you can find out the origin of the attack and track the attacker using digital forensics. You can also develop secure scripts to encrypt and decrypt information using cryptography, key cryptography. Then you can develop tools to automate your hacking process. Like, there are tools to form dictionaries, there are tools to um, track information, to encrypt and decrypt data. You can uh, develop more such tools to automate your hacking process, and you can also find solutions to make software, network, or system more secure. Now, these were the basic things which, as an ethical hacker, you can, and you have now also got the basic knowledge about the basic cyber threats and how to prevent them. Now we would like to show you what are the required software and how to install them. So in the prerequisites, we had given that you will have to keep VirtualBox and its extension pack downloaded, and we had also provided the links for Kali Linux. The basic thing is Kali Linux is the basic tool for any beginner to get into ethical hacking. You can, with Linux, you can access servers, and you can just hack, and you can do anything with Linux. Now, options for installing Kali Linux is a virtual machine, which is a virtual box or VMware. You can also go for a dual boot. You can go for WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, and you can replace your current system fully with Linux. Now these were the links that were shared with you. Now I would like to show you how to install them. I'm currently showcasing VirtualBox. So here I have opened my VirtualBox. So you go to import. File. Then you go on next, and then you import. Just take care that the memory is set to 2 gigs, 2 MBs, and then you import it. Till the machine is being imported, I would like to request you to put all your questions in the Q&A section here. This might take a little time, depending on your processor and your RAM. The VirtualBox with Kali Linux is recommended to be used with minimum 4 GBs of RAM and 64-bit. For 32-bit, you can go for WSL, which is not at all a bad option. It works perfectly fine and it is pretty reliable. Just the thing is that in case your system crashes, then you need to keep an alternative, which is fulfilled by a virtual machine. In the dual boot also it is the same case. So a virtual machine on VirtualBox or VMware is pretty secure in case of recovery. Now I have an i5 8th generation, and still it is taking so much time. As I said that it totally depends on our processor as how quickly the things can work. I just increased my RAM also from 8 to 16, so it just got fastened up. Now here we have included our virtual machine into VirtualBox. Before starting this, we'd like to adjust some settings. We'll go to network and we'll see that here it is attached to NAT. If I click on it, then we need to connect to NAT network. If you don't have NAT network listed in your settings, then you should go to machine, settings, net. You need to go to preferences, the network, and then click on this green button to add NAT network. Then click OK, and then go to settings again, go to network, and then select NAT network. I'll repeat, go to file, preferences, network, and click on this green button. Okay, then go to settings, network, and select NAT network. Okay, and then you start your machine. Now it might take a little time to boot up. So till then you can go and you can just wait patiently. The basic login credentials are Kali and Kali, and for a detailed and we'll be conducting a session on basic Linux and its operations, and we'll be showcasing some cool ethical hacking techniques in it. So the basic login credentials are Kali and Kali. Username, password, both Kali. Then you log in. And here we are. Now you can, if you are facing such issue that your window is small or big, then you can refer to YouTube for further assistance. And you can also press Control F to go to full screen so that the mode will change to full screen. And here your issue has been resolved. You just press right Control and then F. So here we have installed our required software. Now the other options are Windows subsystem for Linux. You can go to Microsoft Store and you can search for Kali Linux or just type Linux. And here you have Ubuntu, Kali, and you can just download them. You can also dual boot your PC by downloading the ISO file, which for Kali Linux it is given here, and for Ubuntu it is given here, and also in the form that you received, it was also mentioned in the prerequisites. So I now open the forum for questions. Okay, so there's a question from Saurabh Jan. Yes, so how can I start ethical hacking, and is there any specific which is needed? Karthik, would you like to add to it? As far as from my side, you can just first get used to Linux and start exploring and reading more. Like you can just go to Google and then search for how do I get started. So they'll suggest a ton of ways. I started up by taking up a course on Udemy. This is which is learn ethical hacking from scratch, and then I also went for an internship, a short, I think 2 months internship, which was a course come internship on cybersecurity, and from there I just grabbed up all my basics, and then I think that I got started in this way.
So I would also like to add up to Harsh's point. So, guys, if you want to get started with ethical hacking in your first years, I would suggest you get your hands dirty first with Linux, because Linux is the distro that you will be entirely being using for your entire ethical hacking career. Being in fourth year, I've been using Linux for 6 years now from my own side, and the thing is. Windows is a good distro, but the thing with Windows is many hacking scripts and tools are written in Shell, and Shell is a language which is mostly supported for Linux. That is Bash. So first, get your hands dirty with Linux. Work your way around Linux. Try to incorporate it in your daily life. By having a virtual machine set up in your own laptop, and when you get free time, run the virtual machine, use it for some time, get your hands dirty, learn the commands that you'll be using in Linux, that are sudo, what is cmd. We'll be having a session on basic commands and basics of Linux pretty soon, but for now you could do that. After that, you could take up a course by so there is a lot of content online which is for free, but I would suggest spending $200 or something on Udemy during your offer seasons to get this course by Zed. So Zed is a cybersecurity expert who gives courses on Udemy, and one of his courses is called Ethical Hacking from Scratch, and you will find it on the top in the Udemy store. I would suggest you doing that course, and you will be, very well started with your ethical hacking career from that basis. So even I have done that course, and it's pretty good for getting you started. He teaches you all the basics and also gets you to a pretty advanced level of ethical hacking. So that would help you in a lot of ways. Also, if you need any kind of materials or resources, you could ask us on the Discord server, and anyone who has materials on that stuff, we will, share it there. So I have a lot of material on ethical hacking, and I would be really happy to share it there in the ethical hacking group. Yeah.
So there is another question. When getting into ethical hacking, is it necessary that we focus on a particular domain like network or web, or can we go in general? So I would say that first start exploring, like trying all the things, and then eventually you'll find your personal liking. Like someone has liking towards pen testing, someone has in digital forensics, someone has in cryptography. You'll find your liking towards them eventually, but for a start you just start exploring in all the domains. How to prepare an approach for internships? Karthik, I think this is a question for you.
Yeah, so I can answer that. So the thing with internships for ethical hacking is you need to be very proficient in what you know. So getting a cybersecurity job in this during this times, or not just the COVID pandemic, but even after or before the COVID pandemic, the jobs for cybersecurity are very scarce because every company is looking for people who really know what they're doing. So there is a lot of times where people claim to be cybersecurity professionals, but at the end, uh, they do not know what the basics are. So companies are really looking strongly towards your basics, how well your basics are. If they're pretty good, then coursing through your internship interviews will be very easy. So I have completed three internships in ethical hacking. One which was in cybercrime police. So I was working as a cyber forensics for the police of Telangana, and I had three interviews there, and each interview was a technical interview. Consisting of every basic question that you know about ethical hacking, including networking. So you need to be very strong with your basics because they can ask you anything during your internship interviews. Also, you need to know how to work your way around. So let's suppose one of your scripts or hacks are not working. You need to know how to upgrade them so that you can get into the system. So that also depends on how much you practice. Ethical hacking is all about how much you practice your skill, that you can develop how well you can hack. So that would be for the internship point.
Yeah. Next question is ethical hacking course on Coursera worth it? So as far as I know, Coursera takes up regular tests to ensure that you are learning good. So I think that the course, basically the basic idea behind a course is that you learn and you apply it. So unless and until you apply, any course wouldn't be worth it. Like I have taken up a course on Udemy and you have taken up one on Coursera. So even if you do not apply the knowledge you gained in that course, it wouldn't be worth it. But for to answer your question, I would say that yes, the courses on Coursera are also worth it. Is is there any difference in approach to ethical hacking and cybersecurity, or how do we start with cybersecurity in development? Cybersecurity in development, like if you are asking for software development, then first you need to be well versed with developing softwares, well versed with web development if you are talking about web development, and then you can look for for pursuing cybersecurity in that. And Deep, Karthik, would you like to add something to it?
There's a very minor difference in ethical hacking. Not a minor one, you can say, but there's a difference in ethical hacking and cybersecurity. So ethical hacking is where you get into penetration testing, or you test the defense of a particular product or a software by ethically hacking it for a company or for a customer. Whereas cybersecurity involves more on the defense side of the aspect, where you develop such techniques so that you can defend your software or defend your product from malicious hackers. So for every cybersecurity expert, you first needs to be an ethical hacker, because if you want to defend a system, you need to know how to attack a system, right? So for that, ethical hacking is basis to get into cybersecurity and development. So once you know how I can, break a web page, once you know how I can attack a web page using JavaScript, then when you get to the cybersecurity, that's the defense side, you know how well I can write my JavaScript check functions to keep the hackers out. So there's a very good difference between both of them, but ethical hacking is where you get started.
Yes, thanks, Karthik. So next question is, I'm new to this. Can you tell me how to join the ethical hacking group? I think that we'll be sharing the link to join the Discord in the general channel. I'll just share it now. So the link for the Discord group is in the general channel, general chat, and yeah, you can join it. Will you be holding courses or boot camps for bash scripting? Yes, we would be holding sessions on hands-on sessions, and eventually, I think yes, for bash scripting as well. Deep, would you like to add? Deep, Karthik.
Yeah, so for bash scripting, currently, I would suggest getting your hands dirty with scripting as such by handmade automated scripts pre-present on the web. So for getting into scripting like bash scripting, you need to have a very well versed knowledge of what kind of attacks are possible, and what each and every attack does. So where do the packets go, where do the packets come from, if you're attacking a Wi-Fi, or if you're attacking a network. So once you know all this, you can get into scripting. Also, yeah, we will be having sessions on bash scripting, but they will be much later after you get your hands really well versed with basic hacking techniques using automated scripts that are pre-present on the web. So that is one thing. So I can give you an example right now, and also this will be a Kickstarter for all of you. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone right now. Deep,
Yes.
can you just confirm? Yeah. So there is a script called as Cell script, which is present online, and this is a pre-made script which allows you to do social engineering attacks, which will be coming to later, or you can also tell us phishing attacks. Just as told by Deep and Harsh, which are, getting someone to click a link and entering some kind of password. So once you set up the script perfectly, so I can a link. So let's say I have this link which I can, shorten or even change by using a domain changer, which we will get into deeper later. So once you can get links like this, and I, can forward this link to anyone. Let's say this is a new browser. I just want to visit this link. Once I visit this link, you will have a very similar web page to Instagram, which this website automatically creates. So you do not even have to know what HTML and CSS is needed. Once you have this page, you just have to somehow get your user to enter the username and password here. Let's suppose we just enter any username and password and just try to log in. And this script automatically redirects you to the original Instagram page without even logging you in. And since I am already logged in, it will show you my login. But whereas if you see, my script has already captured the account name and the password. You also get additional information of what my public IP is, which I should not be showing, but I'm showing to you guys. So this is my public IP right now. So it also shows you which area I'm living in, what ISP I'm using. So these are some kind of tools, that you need to get to know really well on how these are working in the background, so that you can make them yourself. And we'll be showing you how these scripts work at the beginning, and we'll be teaching you how to make these scripts at the end. So like, if you just want an example of what kind of scripts you can create, you can just go to my GitHub, which is github.com/Karthik Bhushan. You can just go to my GitHub, you can check my repositories, and in my repositories, I have a few scripts that I have made, such as Proxy Finder, which helps you find a proxy server automatically and connect to the proxy server, so that you can, have a secured proxy lane to connect or attack different servers. You can also find different scripts. Like, I have a few hacking scripts that I've put up here, like ARP spoofers, Mac changers, network scanners. There's a lot of scripts that you can write, and these are scripts that are written in Python. So even if you know Python, you can understand what these scripts are doing, what this language is written. But to understand where the packets are going and where the packets are coming from, that might take you some time. So we will be teaching you all this, but then it's all on how dedicated you are throughout the sessions. So more the dedicated you are, the faster your learning rate will be. So this was just a small, sneak peek of what you can do once you are really good and well versed with hacking. So this that I showed you right here, this can be learned within, half an hour by anyone who is just installed Linux. So that is how easy this attack is. But there are a few attacks that range really high, such as DDoS attacks. That is, let's take an example of attacking the Symbiosis server and bringing it down so that no one can access it. So that's a DDoS attack. So those kind of attacks take a bit more of training time. So yeah, so stay tuned for all of this, and keep learning so that you can get to much greater extent.
So that was a
And
really good demo by Karthik, and I hope that you have that your question was answered. Now the next question is, can you share some material on the Discord for learning about the attacks that must be known for scripting? Yes, we'll be sharing the material, as Karthik said that as we'll be sharing the material as soon as possible. So are there any other questions?
So I guess there are no questions, guys. So we'll be concluding the session here. The video recording can be found on YouTube. That will be sharing after the video has been uploaded, and you can re-go through the slides that Harsh and Deep had shared. We'll also be putting the link for the PPT in the Discord channel. So if you want to have a look at the PPT once again, you can look it up there. And we are always present on the Discord group. So if you have any questions regarding the ethical hacking, you know, any questions regarding ethical hacking, just join the ethical hacking in the Discord channel, and once you're in the group, you can ask us questions there, and any one of us, Deep, Harsh, or even me, will answer your questions over there. So stay tuned for even more sessions that will be coming up in the future, and I hope you all have a great day.
Yes, guys. Have a great day, guys, and you can leave the session now.
Thank you guys. It was pretty good interacting with you guys. Let's meet in the next session.